You have to forgive the mess. But this is looking at the airplane. It's totally ready to fly to Savannah. Unfortunately, that trip is behind me now since we drove down and back. There was far too much ice to deal with what would have been the result. So we drove down and didn't use the airplane. Now I gotten Phil Air to do the annual, as is usually the case, and he got it done for me in 3 weeks' time. There was a number of things that we had to address. First of all was manifold pressure gauge. I sent mine away to get overhauled because the left side was sticking. He put the new one in, newly overhauled one in, and just before my trip, oil was in the line and ruined it. So that had to come out. This one went back in. This is my original one, the one that was sent away and overhauled, and it hasn't been tested yet, but it looks like the manifold pressure at least is showing the field. So at this point we should have all the oil out of that, and I'm hoping we'll do a test run on that. So anyway, that was a last minute ordeal. Phil ended up, or Paul rather, ended up driving 3 hours to try to get that done the night before the trip, which I ultimately canceled because of the ice.
About 2,000 feet.
November 83 Delta Foxtrot, can you accept immediate departure?
Yes, sir, I can.
83 Delta Foxtrot, runway 14, full length, cleared for takeoff. Wind 150, 15.17. Traffic is disregard, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff 143 Delta Fox, thanks.
Aircraft to the east of the field calling Wilmington Tower. Say again, please.
Inbound for the west east on east of the airport, about 2,000 feet.
Aircraft 3,000 feet. Say your call sign and identity.
Skyhawk 20825.
Foxtrot, right, and out south approved, thank you.
3 Delta Fox, we're out of here, thanks.
Number 87 Echo Mike, and number 2, we'll be following a jet, 2,000 feet, right, correction, left base to final. They're turning a 5-mile final for runway 19. Number 2, report that traffic in sight.
87 Echo Mike, will go.
Number 825, ident.
7 Echo Mike, traffic in sight.
One of the things I did want to talk about is a path forward for the airplane. I'm doing the maintenance thing, the annual, going through it, making sure all the instruments are working, except the KI-209, the glide slope localizer indicator got me thinking, got me headed down a path towards improvements. I've already talked about the fact that I want to update my autopilot. I already mentioned that, I'm sure, more than once. And I'm actually was almost convinced to go with the 3100, the S-Tech 3100. The concern I'm starting to have with that is availability of parts, availability of STC for the PA30, and the time it's going to take to get it done. I think what I'm also going to start looking at, I'm going to continue to evaluate that, but I'm going to also look at what's already been approved for the PA30 that would be an improvement over the Ultimatic 3B. I was looking at the KI-209 and I'm thinking to myself, rather than spend the money to put another one in there or to overhaul, and I've even gotten prices of $600 installed, I could have another one in there. But I figured, well, wait a minute, I can get something today with much more capability. So I'm looking at that. So I was almost settled on the GI 275. Drop a Garmin 275 in there, and it gives me another independent A-horse. Wow, I was excited by that. Plus the ability, I presume, to represent or to put up a localizer glide slope from either radios. In other words, be a total backup for the Aspen PFD. I've got an Aspen Pro Max in here. So I was excited about all that. Of course, I always have to be asking the questions. Whatever I put in here, is it going to be compatible with where I want to go with the autopilot? That question, I think I'm going to be pretty okay there, but I got to do the research. So along comes my AMP down at Phil Air. He's going down a path of becoming an Avionics dealer. So he's been learning about those devices and insisted that I look at the IFD 550. And I was like, lukewarm. I like Garmin. I know Garmin. I know it works. Avionics, I've done some instruction in Cirrus aircraft with Avionics. I was never totally impressed with them. They didn't thrill me. I looked at this IFD 550 and it's got its own A-horse page. So what it would give me was everything the 530 has without needing a Flightstream 210. It would just be the unit by itself. It's got Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. So I get all the capabilities that I have now, plus probably a little bit more. Got to verify all that, but that's what it looks like. But there's a page in there that's an A-horse. So I don't know if it has a flight director or not, but I've got to go through the tour and got to go through and look at. I'm really excited about that. So we're working on prices on that.
100 feet below you.
All right, Zane.
Wow.
Thank you. Oh, we got traffic.
So
Thank you.
Copy all.
there's so much going on in this airplane. It's got so many features. I forgot half of them. It's sad. Let's see. I can go. There we go. There's the down counter. There's the flight timer. 19 minutes. 19 minutes into the flight, and I'm still remember where all the controls are. I got everything set up. I'm flying on the aux tanks. I think Paul might have fixed my damn EDM 760 finally. Boy, I am not a patient man. I'm hard on maintenance. I'm hard on maintenance in terms of demanding. I want it working, man. If I put all this money into it, I want it working. And I was really starting to regret the EDM 760. Right now, it's all working, so that's good. So hopefully I won't have any distractions. My manifold pressure gauge is working.
At Dover, approach.
Paul knew what the issue was when he looked at it. And
5 Dover, go ahead.
fixed it. Well, then I let the airplane sit because I drove to Savannah and back.
16 miles.
And we got some moisture going in it,
1,500.
I think.
Southbound.
So it took 20 minutes to get it all out. Even the props, they were having a hard time sinking, so I'm thinking, surgeon, what's going on there? So I was waiting and watching. Flew for a couple minutes and it settled right out. I just think the oil needed to all be warmed up and get going. When I first started, the autopilot was wobbling. Now that's steady. So we're heading down to Ocean City, Maryland.
November 8 Romeo Juliet.
My buddy Gary lives down here.
124.6.
Just flying VFR. I'm making sure that I'm
5 radar contact.
clear of all airspace.
Northwest of Dover.
I got Dover flight following going. Temps are good, fuel flow's good. So I'm flying down there just to shake the rust off procedures, man. It's been so long. Every time I get a chance to fly this, I had some kind of an issue come up, and it was distracting, so I wasn't focusing on instrument procedures. So anyway, long story short, the airplane is freshly detailed inside and out. I had done that. Paul had arranged that for me, so that he knew that I was bringing the wife, so the wife would have a beautiful, clean airplane to fly down to Savannah in.
We were really looking forward to that. We ended up driving because there was just too much ice. I'll flash up some pictures there. You might have a different opinion, but I looked at it that morning. I looked at what I had in front of me. The fact that it was moderate turbulence everywhere. The fact that the only way around it was to go out to Tennessee, which I have no problem doing. But then I would have gotten into Savannah later when more ice was moving in from that storm last week. And then the final nail in the coffin was, okay, if I go out Tennessee route, means I got to stop somewhere at a small airport, which may or may not be open. I was reading the comments, and a lot of the bathrooms were closed. Well, I got my wife with me. I can deal with that, but I got my wife with me. This is supposed to be, you know, a wonderful journey for her, and that's what I want it to be for her. Anyway, I looked at all that, and the bathrooms were a final nail in the coffin. As the hell with it. And we drove, and you know, she's a wonderful girl, so I told her that. Half hour later, we were on the road with a packed lunch, packed snacks, and stuff like that. So we ended up driving down there. I got my QA done, so I'm an upset recovery pilot or instructor in the P280. And we stayed an extra day, and we had a great time at lunch by the river. A little bit of turbulence coming up. We had lunch by the river, hung out, had a couple drinks. Did a lot of walking, and then we drove back the next day. We stopped in Fredericksburg, Virginia, and then we went to meet my granddaughter, my newest granddaughter for the first time. That's number 17. 16? 17. 17, I think she is. Yeah, my 17th grandchild. Pretty freaking awesome. Another beautiful kid. So they're all gorgeous. They all are unique. They're all amazing. Life is too short. Too short, you gotta play. So I'm gonna turn this off till we get a little bit closer, and then I'll get some video footage. I really wanted to do a video and get it out there to you guys. There's been a lot of interest, a lot of positive comments, and I kind of enjoyed it, I gotta admit. Flight slopes alive. Localizer norm. Almost forgot that part. Have to bias it up a little bit. A little low. Just slightly low. Ocean City, Twin Comanche 4 mile final low approach, runway 14. Landing gear down. Down. Down and green. Flight slope capture. It's amazing what you can do when everything works. Flying 130. Gas.
Altitude.
Gas. Bird. Undercarriage, undercarriage. Mixture, props to go, switches at the field. Ocean City traffic, Twin Comanche 3 mile final low approach, runway 14.
Approaching minimums.
Approaching minimums.
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 Okay, we'll do a autopilot disconnect. continue to fly down towards the runway.
500.
I'm on the pseudo glide slope, but it's showing me low. Those trees are right there. Took it out of suspend mode. $25 squared. Nice stable climb. Right pump off. Left pump off. Climbing right turn to P-fare. Then what we're going to do is capture that, and make sure I'm in the CDI. I am. And 3 Delta Fox cleared to turn for the final 1-4.
Or 3 Delta Fox, right, affirmative.
Gotcha.
November 19 Quebec. Traffic is a Skylane turning right base to final, you're 12 o'clock, 1,000 feet, less than a mile, no factor.
Looking out, 190 Quebec.
At 16, gust 21, clear for takeoff, on course southwest approved.
Okay, 700 X-ray Tango, 27, clear for takeoff, southwest.
There are 3 Delta Foxtrot, turn right, taxiway Foxtrot 3 or hotel as needed, contact ground point 7.
All right, turn right and ground point 7, 3 Delta Fox. Thanks for your help today.